Up next, we have our, this will be our final speaker, elected official for House District 54. Is it 54 or 55? 54, Jared Wright.
Thank you. What a great crowd this morning. I am so proud of every one of you for being here today to stand up for one of our fundamental rights, the Second Amendment, which I'm going to read. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It seems pretty simple. One of the drafters of that amendment, a great man and one of our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, said this: "Those who hammer their guns into plows will plow for those who do not." It's good to be back in Grand Junction. As you know, for a conservative, the city of Denver is not necessarily a friendly place. It's good to be back amongst friends and neighbors. God bless you all for being here, and thank God for our First Amendment right to assemble here in reverence to our freedoms and liberties granted by the First Amendment of our Constitution. Thank God to the members of the press who are here practicing that First Amendment of the Constitution. The First Amendment to our Constitution is vital to the survival of a free state, but it does not stand alone in importance. It is equal to all of the other rights we are granted as citizens of this great nation. All of these rights were built upon the three cornerstones of America: freedom, liberty, and equality. About liberty, Henry Campbell Black said this: "Liberty, whether natural, civil, political, or otherwise, is a lawful power of the individual to exercise his corresponding rights. It is greatly favored by law." And ladies and gentlemen, our Supreme Court in just 2009 upheld our Second Amendment rights as fundamental to all of us being able to carry arms. That is a Supreme Court ruling, and now here we have today a president who is a tyrant, and a governor who is close following behind him, who are attempting to take these rights from us against all lawful orders. Now on Monday, we will celebrate the life of a godly and great man, a shining light to our nation, one who was never elected, but who held more influence than many elected before or since. That man fought and was ultimately slain for what he knew, and the rest of the first world later agreed was right: the fundamental equality of all men and women in this great land. Martin Luther King Jr. himself kept guns for self-defense, and even applied for a concealed weapons permit in 1956. Under regular threat of violence against he and his family, he regularly had armed friends and supporters guard his home. In his powerful speeches, Martin Luther King Jr. took the opportunity to comment on our gun rights and said this: "As we have seen, the first public expression of disenchantment with nonviolence arose around the question of self-defense. In a sense, this is a false issue, for the right to defend one's home and one's person when being attacked is guaranteed through the ages by common law." He continued, "Finally, I contend that the debate over the question of self-defense was unnecessary, since few people suggested that Negroes should not defend themselves as individuals when attacked. The question was not whether one should use his gun when his home was attacked, but whether it was tactically wise to use a gun while participating in an organized demonstration." It's funny, ladies and gentlemen, how we don't hear this in the media today, is it not? The hero that the liberals hold up themselves, Martin Luther King Jr., who also is a hero of mine, yet now they're turning and they're trying to hide his own words because they don't fit their agenda. And what is that agenda? To disarm America. And we will not let that happen, will we? Amen. To those who argue the Second Amendment guarantees only the right for our military to be armed, shame on you for your dangerous ignorance of your own rights. For you have not even read your own history. A failing of our education system? Quite possibly. But a failing, moreover, of your civic duty to be involved in your society.
Yes. Yes.
To you, let me say this. In 1982, a report of the U.S. Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on the Constitution reached this conclusion, and I quote, "It is thus inescapable that the history, concept, and wording of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, as well as its interpretation by every major commentator and court in the first half-century of after its ratification, indicates that what is protected is an individual right of a private citizen to own and carry firearms." End quote. As many of you know,